back to Tabletop Tactics, where today we're looking through a whole host of changes to 40k. A balanced data slate, the Munitorum field manual, a bunch of new detachments, and potentially Codex Daemons? I am James Jordan, aka The Bard, and today I am joined by Katie Foe.
Hi.
Jinx. And Joe Pointing.
Hi.
I mean, yeah, that is. Maybe we should also start. Hi. Yeah, I like it.
I'd like to be referred to as Lord of the Shadow Legions going forwards, just for this episode, please.
Wow.
Based on some things we'll be talking about today.
It's all very
Will you
exciting.
not answer to anything else?
Huh?
Will you not answer to anything else?
No.
Okay, I understand. Lord of the Shadow Legions.
Lord of the Shadow Legions. I like that. It's a good moniker. It's a good title.
Thanks.
There's been a lot of change. Been a lot of change. Look.
Unexpected things have dropped upon our laps.
Very unexpected. I mean, look, it's the Balance Dataslate is here, which is very exciting. We will get to that and we'll go through some of the changes. Some at first were like, whoa, earthquake, and then you look into it and you're like, okay, it's manageable. And we also have the Munitorum field manual, which is obviously the changes to points. What we were not expecting at all was a new detachment for Custodes, a new detachment for Orks, and a new detachment for Tau. And then, as a very chaotic cherry right on the top of this lovely cake, effectively, I'm going to be bold here, kind of like Index 2.0 / Codex Daemons.
I mean, it's basically a codex, isn't it?
Yeah. Like if you were to stick all the Grotmas stuff into this package and print it off and staple it together from all the free PDFs. So
Find yourself some cool artwork to slap on the front there.
Exactly. Write your own lore. Get yourself a codex.
Are we going straight into the demons?
I think so.
Right, we're going to come back to the MFM.
We'll come back to the MFM. I think we'll come back to Balance Dataslate. I think what we'll do is we'll go through the detachments.
Yeah.
Because they're hot off the press. They're brand new.
Yeah.
But this is almost earth-shakingly different.
Hold your horses. We'll get onto the MFM. Index 2.0 thing is an interesting way of thinking about it. I really, basically, hot take is this is great.
It's really good.
The mild, lukewarm take is why didn't they put the Grotmas attachments in here as well and just say digital codex for Chaos Daemons? Because people would be like, wow, that's fun.
Yeah.
Maybe they didn't want to set a precedent that that's going to happen in future.
Yeah.
But basically what we have here is the army rule is effectively the same.
Yes.
Shadow of Chaos is still very dark and
shadowy,
spooky. We've got the original Index detachment in here, which we all know and love. There's a new detachment in here called Shadow Legion.
Lord of the Shadow Legion.
Which is very cool.
And I might add, is coming to On Demand tomorrow.
Yes.
If you sign up today, you can see that battle with an all-new detachment and the Lions of the Emperor for the Custodes.
Yeah, first of all, hello to everyone that is a new On Demand member, because we've seen loads of people join since we've been doing all our Emperor's Children stuff.
Yes, hello!
So if you're here in YouTube land, thank you for joining us. It's very exciting. And yeah, if you haven't already, join up, because that game's a banger.
Do you know what? I think it's some of the most fun I've had in 40k in months.
Right down to the wire.
That was really good. That was really good.
Lots of exciting things. Dropping tomorrow.
Yes.
New Custodes, new demons.
Very exciting.
Yeah. Right, listen to me. You all listening?
I'm listening.
Right, there's a new detachment called Shadow Legion, which is basically, it's sort of like another Demonkin sort of thing.
I love this.
So much.
So you can take up to 1,000 points worth of Chaos Space Marines with your demons. Now,
So cool.
you're kind of encouraged, not enforced to take Be'lakor, but he's kind of like the head of this detachment. Because he basically gains Dark Pacts and the Undivided Keywords.
Oh.
So you can take up to 1,000 points of Chaos Space Marines in a 2,000 point game with your demons.
Quite nice, that.
And I literally split it down the middle. Ooh. I ripped it in half.
You did.
Eagerly.
Yes.
Ripped it asunder.
Yes, you did.
You can take Chaos Lords, Terminators, Chaos Lords with jump packs, you can take Chosen, you can take damned units, you can take Raptors. Basically, all of the characters and infantry-based stuff that you could take in Chaos Space Marines. No epic heroes, no Demon Prince and a Demon Princess with wings, but you can take Be'lakor, who is an epic hero. And what we'll talk about Be'lakor shortly. He's been given a right old one of them.
Yeah, he's been going to the gym.
He's been taking his vitamins and eating his greens.
He's learned something about what he's done, and he's come back a new demon.
Holy shamoli.
Yeah.
So yes, Be'lakor is able to be, basically Be'lakor gets Dark Pact, he becomes undivided, and he can very much be a part of this detachment.
Sounds very powerful.
Yeah, benefit from all of the stratagems
Am
and
I
stuff.
correct in thinking you can take Havocs?
You can take Havocs.
It's what I, from facing off against it,
Yeah.
what I really enjoyed about it is it felt for me, whenever you hear about Chaos in the fluff,
Yeah.
especially if you're like a Wordbearers fan or something, you can really get a sense of they work really nicely together.
Yeah.
Because you can have like, what are the gaps demons have is like shooting or small arms fire. It's like, cool, well my like, blood layers can surge forward.
Yeah.
And then I can just be like, with
Yeah.
heavy bolters behind them.
You can
Or
put
like
in the
chain
shoots. But they've also been very clever.
They have.
Because you're also getting benefits with your Chaos Space Marine units, because all of the Chaos Space Marine stuff gets Deep Strike. So it's
All
like,
of it?
Yep.
I'm always very frustrated.
Everything?
Everything that's not a demon, yeah. So,
Okay.
yeah. I get frustrated sometimes that I have to take Possessed in a Rhino.
Yeah.
But now I can Deep Strike Possessed.
That's very cool.
Wild.
Because they're working with
It's
the
like you're
demons.
summoning them.
Yes.
Instead of summoning the demons. That's
So
cool.
Yeah, you can take characters that can join those sorts of units as well, so they're not sort of there just because.
Yeah.
You've got big chunky units like Terminators. You can still do deep striking stuff like Raptors. It's great. It's really, really
It's
cool.
a really fun detachment.
Really cool. The stratagems are really nice as well. None of them are overpowered. They all have their use exactly how they should be. One of my favourite ones to show the unholy union between the demons and the Chaos
Very
Space
impressive.
Marines is an uppy-downy stratagem. You pick one Chaos Space Marine unit and one Legionis Demonica unit, and they both go
Together.
up into
Yeah.
the sky.
Holding hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm coming with you.
Bestest friends.
It's a really fun
That
detachment.
sounds really cool.
And on the face of it, people might be like, oh, that sounds like a bit much. It doesn't feel like too much. It just feels really fun to play against.
Yeah, it's
Which
cool.
is what you want.
The enhancements are good, and the other thing is that all of the different types of demons get their own abilities.
Cool.
So as I mentioned, Chaos Space Marines all basically get undivided and they have Deep Strike. Be'lakor becomes undivided and automatically passes all of his Dark Pacts.
He basically has all
Always on Dark Pact.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Khorne get Advance in Charge.
Okay, cool.
Zinch get -1 to hit all the time when they're being
nice.
shot at.
Trickery.
It's called penumbral puppetry.
Oh.
Unfortunately, I always read this as penumbral puberty.
He does.
But that's something else to think about.
That's a you problem.
Yeah, Nurgle all get -1 toughness if the strength is higher than your toughness.
Very nice.
And Slaanesh can never be targeted by Overwatch.
Which is really cool.
So they've all got their own individual little things, which is really fun.
cool.
So it's a really well put together thing. It feels like a proper complete package of you can take all this stuff together, but it all works in unison.
It's really nice. And I think, obviously, with the recent release of a certain Emperor's Children, there was a concern, I think, amongst a lot of Demon players. It sort of felt like Demons were being sort of phased out and they weren't going to get anything. But weirdly, I would say in the last sort of like
Feels like a glow
3 months, they've had loads of stuff.
Yeah.
Which is really good. Because I think you don't want anything to go away, but if this is the equivalent of, say, with Deathwatch, when Deathwatch went and came back again, maybe they learned their lesson of like, look, if we're not planning to do a all singing, all dancing Codex, we can do this kind of thing to support these more ethereal factions that sort of lie in between the main factions.
I mean,
which
really,
is
they've
cool.
got 6 detachments now.
Yeah.
To use.
Which is awesome.
Which is interesting why they haven't put it all together in this one document, because
Yeah.
you do need to go between the Grotmas attachments and this.
Or
now.
just print them all out.
Yeah.
Or just print them
Stick
out.
them together.
Yeah.
I get the impression this is not changing now. They're not getting a Codex.
It seems that way.
This is their thing, which is fine, because it all feels great.
Yeah, to be fair, yeah.
Well, it doesn't feel great.
No.
There have been some.
Don't do this
there
for
have
me.
been some losses.
No.
So the data sheets have changed for some of the units. Now the greater demons have all had a bit of a They've all had some slight adjustments. Generally, more wounds. Sometimes, and also +1 to their armor save. So generally speaking, all the Greater Demons have a 3-up, 4-up now.
All got a bit tougher as well.
Some of them have got a bit tougher.
Am I right in saying that the Slash units have all been changed as well, so they're in line with the Emperor's Children?
Yes.
So we can probably expect that
Yeah.
with the next few.
Probably.
Yes.
So I think
the crystal ball might be able to infer what might be coming.
I think what is in here in terms of the data sheets is what the subsequent 3 god codexes, so Thousand Suns, World Eaters, and Death Guard will be getting.
We presume they're having demons if Emperor's Children.
Of course they are. Of course they are.
You'd think so. It'd be weird if they didn't.
There have been some weird changes, and some units have just gone.
Don't talk to me about it.
Tzeentch, no casualties.
Unscathed.
Surprising,
Because they might as well hit because they're penumbral puppetry.
the puberty has saved them. No casualties.
They're all grown up.
Yeah, no casualties for Tzeentch, which is interesting because some of those units are old as hell.
Yes, really old.
No casualties for Nurgle, which is also surprising because you've got chaps like Epidemius on his resin throne. He's fine cast and he's still in here.
He's too heavy to move.
Which is not in line.
Unshiftable.
Not in line with what they've been doing so far.
But it might mean we're getting a new one,
Who knows?
theoretically.
I don't think so. If they're not getting a codex, I can't see any new models for demons. Maybe next edition. Khorne have lost Karanak.
But kept bloodhounds.
The goodest,
But kept bloodhounds.
The goodest boy in the warp.
Weird, because you've got some older models like the Bloodmaster on Juggernaut. I think he's called. He's older than him. It feels odd that they've left in the Bloodhounds. Bloodhounds?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
but
think
not
Bloodhound.
Karanak.
Karanak, who goes with them.
Now, if you go on to Warhammer.com
No.
and go to the shop and go to Karanak and you look at the image, you've got a 40k logo and a Sigma logo, which is interesting. Then in the description it says, regardless of what game systems you use, whether it be Warhammer 40,000 or Sigma, Karanak does blah, blah, blah. So I don't know if this is just a mistake or if they've done a very strange thing by removing him for no real reason.
Karanak didn't deserve this.
Karanak has 3 heads, which is better than 1. So he's 3 times the good boy.
Whereas now
He's had all of his heads cut off.
he's none. He's non-existent.
This is strange. Slanesh.
No, I refuse.
Slanesh have had all of their chariots removed.
That's my favourite part of them is the chariot.
Now this makes, to me, even less sense because there's no other units that have gone from Slanesh. It's just the chariots. And for me, the chariots are, it's a pretty cool model. They're all plastic.
Yep.
None of the chariots are fine cast. They're not that old. They're the same scale as the Demonettes.
It's not like they don't make sense either, because they're literally chariots and half of them have Seekers attached to them, which are still in them.
So the Hellflayer's gone, the Seeker Chariot's gone, the Character Chariot's gone. They've all gone.
It's heartbreaking, honestly, because those chariots are so fun to use.
They're very iconic. The design is fine. To me, this is a massive mistake, and I don't understand why they've done it.
Because the thing is, you could see something like Karanak being almost like they forgot about him. Yeah. Because
that
relatively
could be
new.
That could be a mistake.
Like, I think he came out just before COVID or something.
Yeah.
But
the fact all the chariots are gone.
seems more
Every single one.
deliberate.
That is on purpose.
Yeah. And I don't know
Why
why.
have they done this to me?
I don't know why.
I'm so upset.
Yeah.
But would everyone like to be cheered up?
Yes,
Because
please.
I have got some exciting news about Be'lakor.
Yeah.
Be'lakor, the Dark Master. So, he's got an extra bit of toughness. He's now toughness 11. He's got a 3-up save like the rest of the Greater Demons. He's got 2 more wounds like
Chunky
the
boy.
other Greater. So he's 20 wounds, which is nice.
Very cool for multiple reasons.
His Betraying Shades, I think, is the same, but he now has Sustained for free. So when you overcharge his 12 attacks, you could do Sustained or Lethal if you wanted to.
Because he always passes his Dark Pacts in that detachment, yeah.
Yeah. The Blade of Shadows now has Devastating Wounds.
Yep.
As well as Dark Pacts.
Yes.
Of course, which work in combat as well.
Which is very nice.
Still got Stealth. He's still got Deep Strike. He still has Deadly Demise D6.
Beefy boy now.
Yeah, he benefits from lots of the stratagems in this detachment, so you can heal him for 3 wounds, which is very nice. His shadow form has also changed and is much better.
Much better.
So the shadow form now, you have the option, you do this at the beginning of the battle round. You can choose to force a battle shock test on any enemy units within 9 inches, and instead of just being a battle shock, if they fail, he restores D3 wounds.
Ooh.
So he quite literally slurps them up.
Oh.
Yeah, which is
Takes
very
their
nice.
soul
If I'm not
essence.
mistaken as well, you also have to take a battle shock test if you're a starting strength of 1.
Yes,
So that includes
characters.
And dreadnoughts and vehicles and things.
A big old slurping. Slurping right up.
Very potent.
When you put that on top of the Shadow of Chaos, where they could be suffering mortal wounds, you're taking and receiving, which is very nice.
So if you charge him into like a big melee where there's lots of your opponents, he's just sort of doing the like
tasty.
it's cool.
You also have any of your demons or Chaos Space Marine units within 6 of him can't be targeted can't be targeted by ranged attacks if they're more than 18 inches away. So at the beginning of the game, if you're fighting a gun line, he can just be like,
He can kind of escort them up the board, which is very cool.
Yes. But the best one, and the one that you'd be hard-pressed not to take, is his Shadow Lord ability is now not pants, but is in fact very good.
Yes.
So previously, I think it allowed units within 6 of him to re-roll Battle Shock. But now it allows units, including himself, to re-roll hit rolls of 1.
Oh, that's nice.
Which is much better,
That's
isn't
very
it?
cool for a demon.
Yes.
Now, he's had a 50-point price hike.
Makes sense, that's fine.
But I'm going to pay that.
Yeah.
And I'm going to take him every time.
Yes.
Because he's now very scary.
He's really interesting.
Because he's that much more survivable. He can regain his wounds. He can kill you harder.
Yes.
He can have his mates kill you harder.
He's going to devastate the battlefield.
Yeah.
It makes me very happy.
He's also now feels like the Shadow Lord.
Yeah, Bellicor the Dark Master.
Exactly. Rather than Bellicor.
He's decent. He's really good.
Cool now. Which is because he's such a gorgeous model.
Yeah. Now, there's lots of other changes, but you can download this now. Now we're out of Embargo Town. There's some funny other data sheets. A lot of the other data sheets haven't really changed. Beast and Urg will have Scout 6 now. Because why not?
Because they're so eager for hugs.
Yeah, Ground Clean One's hard as nails.
He gets +1 toughness to Nurgle units, including himself, so he's very tough.
This all feels like really thematic.
Yeah.
I'm not mad about these changes.
No.
Yeah, it's interesting. So,
Other than the chariots.
apart from the unfathomable losses of certain data
Like
sheets,
the
on the whole, this is a
chariots.
really, really nice update. I think
great.
anyone that is sad that there's no Codex coming for demons, supposedly, this is great. Everything you
have
need
it.
is digital. Your data sheet's been updated. They should be the same, presumably, as what they are in all of the God books. It's very nice.
Majestic.
That's the big change. Let's move on with our lives.
Yes.
Today's video is brought to you thanks to the support from our on-demand members. It's due to their amazing support that we're able to produce shows just like this one. As well as supporting the channel, our members get access to at least 2 additional battle reports every week, as well as full Codex reviews, painting tutorials, 10 multi-episode narrative campaigns, all of our competitive 40k League games, and so much more. And we add to our library of content every single week. You can join our on-demand community today by downloading our app or heading to the website. And right now we have an introductory offer for new customers, so there's never been a better time to join on demand. Thanks for watching. Let's get back to the show.
There's new detachments.
Hey!
There's more for everyone. I like the choices they've made for the factions. You got Custodes, you got Orks, and you got Tau.
It's a good selection.
It's a good spread. What I like about this the most, and what I like about all of these, is, and why I liked all the Grotmus detachments, is they were plugging gaps that were missing in the codexes. Of like, hey, does your army like to play this way, and you find these restrictions in the detachments a bit limiting?
Yep.
Then here's more options. And this has come very soon after Grotmus.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that to happen for like ever. Again. Maybe.
So it was a one-off.
Christmas has come early, and we've got more detachments.
I have a question for you. Can we expect this going forwards now?
I don't think they could do it for a couple and then not do it for
I don't feel like this is random.
everything.
No, I feel, yes, I think that's the telling thing. The fact that it's a weird spread of factions, to me really suggests
And I feel like,
these are going to be more regular.
especially for something like Orcs that already had quite a few detachments in the book.
Yeah.
Like, I
And
feel
got
like they
another
wouldn't do that and then not do some of the ones that have fewer
100%.
detachments.
We'll start with Custodes, because that is what faced off against the demons.
Which you can watch right now, well, not right now, you can watch tomorrow on demand, as well as all the Emperor Children stuff, painting tutorials.
Yes, loads of stuff. It's called Lions of the Emperor, which is the Custodes detachment. Now, I'm going to go out on a limb. I think this is my favourite detachment for the Custodes, including the Codex, including the whole thing.
Being on the receiving end of the Custodes, it felt like the most Custodes thing I've seen in some time.
Exactly, because do you know what they feel like? Custodes! The main rule is really quite simple. It's called Against All Odds, which is very, very cool. Effectively, it rewards you for having less models on the board and acting like a custode. Yeah. If you're on your own, i.e. your unit is outside of 6 inches of all other friendly units, you get +1 to hit and +1 to wound. +1 to hit sounds weird. I'm a custodian, hit on 2s. Don't care about your smoke anymore.
There's plenty of -1 to hit stuff.
Exactly, right? And +1 to wound on Custodes is very nice.
Woof.
They're quite tough, the Custodes. They've got some powerful weapons. The suite of enhancements and stratagems is again built around making your essentially demigod heroes feel like demigod heroes.
Yeah.
Some highlights, Fierce Conqueror, which I didn't get to use in the game, but effectively means you add 2 to the attack characteristic of melee weapons equipped by the bearer for every 5 enemy models within 6 inches.
That's cool as hell.
Within 6 inches in a bubble.
Yeah.
That could be your opponent's entire army, with no cap.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yes, it is. Another favourite, which I did use, which I'm just going to say, Bellicon might be tough, but he is not invincible. The Admonomortis. It's impossible to say.
Admonomortis.
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 Effectively, how I used it was gave my shield captain in Terminator armor a las cannon axe. Because it's strength 12 minus 2 damage 4.
Yeah.
Oh, that's very good.
Yes.
Everything you're saying, this sounds like how Custodes should be in the fluff.
And remember,
and this sounds like setting up for an army that I have played against that is a fluffy Custodes list, not a Horde Custodes list, which makes no sense.
Yeah.
100%. Now, speaking of Horde, you have a returning stratagem from the days of yore. Stig, if you're watching, you're going to be a very happy boy. Unleash the Lions.
Yay! I was going to ask about if Unleash the Lions was in here because it's the Lions of the Emperor.
It is Lions of the Emperor. I can hear the cheers from Custodes fans around the globe.
Yeah.
Effectively, you can detach your Alaris Custodes into single units.
So what you're telling me, James, is that if you took 3 units of 6 Alaris Terminators, you could, in theory, over several turns, have 18 individual Terminators.
All getting boosted up because they're going wherever they want.
All doing uppy downy.
That sounds amazing.
You can,
That's how they should be.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you're going to spend...
That's cool.
I think that would set you back nearly like 1,300 points. They should be able to do all that.
I'll pay double.
Look, the thing is ultimately, also you've got stuff like Superior Creation, you can get back up on a 2 on any shield captain.
Yeah.
Hilarious. The thing is, all of these enhancements mean the Custodes really suffer from not being able to get like ball control like later in the game. Being able to just like, brothers, we will separate, and they just go, "Bwop," and then go do little solo missions.
Yep.
It's really fun and it's really evocative of what I personally want from a Custodes army. Because it feels like I've got loads of superheroes running around. It's why I like the Orc champions, but I do think this is just, I really, really enjoyed using this. You can also give some stuff lone operative, which is hilarious. And the stratagem suite is fantastic. You can do like once per battle things twice, which is, as you will see if you watch the battle report tomorrow, can be very, very powerful.
This really feels like what Emperor's Children? No, Custodes were missing.
Yeah.
Yes,
like,
indeed.
This feels like Custodes, where the Codex kind of didn't.
Yeah, and this is what I like about these as we move on to the Orks one, is I feel it's getting the feedback from the community of that, hey, I appreciate you've given us Custodes Codex, but I feel this is missing. Or people are saying like, hey, in my Orks army, I don't have this old thing that we used to. And they're like, cool, hey, here's more Dakka. Which is essentially, if again, you remember from the days of yore, the detachment is Dakka, 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 which just gives Orks infantry and Orks walkers sustained hits 2 in their shooting.
Which is cool because that's one of the only ways you can't play Orks currently.
Exactly.
Is infantry shooty.
It doesn't really work.
Yeah.
Now,
what I like.
Also,
when the war is active, they also get assault.
They do also get assault.
Oh, this is also for walkers as well.
Yeah, the infantry and walkers.
This obviously, I don't know if they're going to FAQ this. I hope they don't. But if you're the eagle-eyed amongst you will have noticed that Orks walkers, everyone frantically is searching through their codex, would apply to a stomper.
Yeah.
And you Gorkanaut and Morkanaut. Which
Sustain 2 and assault on a. Okay.
Which we did do. We've done a game of this as well, which will be coming out, I think, next Tuesday.
It was amazing.
Yeah. It's really cool. It
was
very
hilarious.
But they don't muck about. Like, I think the thing is, ultimately, if you're getting sustained hits 2 on an Orc shooting, bear in mind you're most of the time hitting on 5s and 6s anyway.
Yeah.
It just almost triples your shots in some places.
Yeah.
You have still got to wound things.
Do you want to know what I think is going to be your favourite enhancement in all of this, though? The Gobshot Thunderburst.
Okay.
You get devastating and hazardous.
Yeah.
You got a bazooka.
Yeah.
It's great. A lot of the also as well, what is really cool is there's a stratagem. That's the word. Couldn't get it out of my mouth. Where Orks is still Orks, which effectively gives you combat punch as well. So it's not like you're foregoing all of what makes your army function. It's just, again, it's another way of playing the faction in a different way. Which is the same with the Custodes
you
mob.
literally cannot do this at the moment.
I know there is
doesn't really work.
The one with it's not, is it the dread mob, which is like the button to shoot hard.
The big red button.
The big red button. Like, there's some stuff they've done, and they have been clever by making this. Well, we're not going to include buggies, and we're not going to include vehicles because that's your speed war and your speed freaks.
Yeah,
and stuff.
could you imagine Assault and Sustain 2 on
might
buggies? That wouldn't be fun.
But they've made some just cool decisions.
Oh, you could give targeting squigs to a big mech with the shock attack gun, which give +1 to hit to all of his mech guns.
Yes, we are aware.
Also, bear in mind he gets sustained hits too.
Yeah.
So if you roll hot, like somebody might have done, you can take a knight in half.
This looks very fun.
It's really fun. It's very Orcs. It's very silly. And then moving on to the Tau.
Is it good?
I quite like it.
The Tau one?
Yeah.
I like the Tau one. Do you know why?
More gun.
It's Borkan. It was weirdly, it was the thing that was missing from the Tau Codex. One of my favourite things of all the Tau Codexes since like 7th is the prototype weapon systems, which is like, you see it in Codex 7th edition, and it's a prototype weapon.
Yeah.
That then becomes a mainstay in Codex 8.
Oh, cool. All the enhancements are
the prototype weapon systems.
prototype weapons.
So essentially, you've got like Supernova Launcher, which you'll know. You've got Fusion Blades are back. Unfortunately, they're not a melee weapon, which is very sad. But they are Melter 4 strength. AP 4.
Yeah, Melter 4.
Okay. And they also improve the strength characteristic of the weapon by 3 and the AP by 1. So from memory, that will be a strength 12, AP 5, Melter 4, Fusion Blaster.
Hell yeah.
Yes, indeed. The general thing is adding 6 inches of range, which used to be the Borkan Sept rule. Bang! Yeah, exactly, right? It's the guns are low enough as it is. Like the rail gun. Essentially point blank range.
Go gadget.
Yeah. We've got repair drones, experimental ammunition is very spicy. It effectively allows you to pick increasing the strength or strength and AP, but you get hazardous. You threat assessment, you can get sustained hits or lethal or everything if you choose hazardous.
You cannot use those two together though.
You can't use them together.
They do speculate that.
I just really like it. Again,
I really like how this encourages you taking different things in the list, and I always I love things that encourage variance. And it's nice to have another Tau detachment for the Tau Codex.
Yes, not like here is all of the Cruton friends. Here is Vespid and friends. And this is battle suits and weapons and science. Which, again, the best thing about all of these, and I think, as you questioned earlier, is if this is going to be more regular, it is so many exciting things. Like, maybe, Bid, you'll get your Terminator Siege cohorts for Iron Warriors one day.
James, will I get my High Fleet Tiamat?
Maybe you'll get your High Fleet
Tiamat. When I learn what they're doing, James!
It's just secret.
If it was to me, I mean, we don't know how they're going to announce this because it should be announced now.
Yeah, in theory.
And today, right now, is not then, it's now.
Yeah. Time.
I can't see this not being a regular thing now. Because presumably this has been done because of this has been done because everyone really liked the Grotmaster detachments.
Yeah.
It's just another way to play. It gives potentially certain units in your army, you can field them now. It's great.
Everything about it is why I loved Grotmas, is I know at the time some people were like, but my detachment isn't very good. It's like, it sets a good precedent that Games Workshop are happy to give away for free.
Yeah.
Which we are not used to.
No.
Ways to play the game.
Yeah.
This to me, like doing this and having done the Grotmos, feels like a love letter to people who collect.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because like
Precisely.
this is how I'm seeing it, is like, oh, you can't use this set of models in your collection because there's no way to use them currently. Here you go. Now you can use everything in your collection and actually appreciate the masters of the game.
Exactly. Like, I think that's the thing, is what I like about all of these is I'm not now like, oh, that's clearly going to be the strongest. Yeah, with Lions of the Emperor, you probably will use Shield Host if you're going down a particular more competitive route for Custodes.
But the Lions though, James.
Exactly. I think there's so much play in all of these. They are strong. They have got room to really do some exciting things. But what I love about all of them is they're sort of like, this is just a way of playing. And if you want something different and you want to experiment with your collection, here's loads of ways of doing it.
Yeah.
Here you go have fun.
Especially what excites me is we spoke about this on a pod a while ago, but with that little salamander head, could it be there's more Grotmos thingies coming?
Could there be a salamander detachment?
Could we get a little detachment for them? In the world, the possibilities are endless.
Want
Listen
it.
to me.
It's all very exciting. Look,
That's
Please
not
go
gonna-
on.
That's not going to be a Grotmos
Shadow Lord.
thing.
not going to be a Grotmos.
It's going to be a proper
Please.
physical media.
Oh, stop it.
Going to release it on mini disc. CDs.
To be fair,
Ow.
given
Oh, imagine they did that. We're going to give you some new rules, but you have to burn them. burn them onto a CD.
Do you know what? With the current climate, I think that'd be quite cool.
I've got to put it into a CD player
for
and
crying-
listen to the rules.
For crying out loud, they have a digital. We're about to now cover the Balance Dataslate and the MFM, which are changes to a print medium.
Yeah.
They may as well carve most of these rules into stone tablets and throw them off a mountain.
If they release the rules on 50 floppy disks in a nice box, they'd sell it.
They would sell it.
That would be
Yeah.
a collector's item. Come on.
Yeah. Enhancement number 1.
Also, you can
Enhancement 2.
you could also open the top of a servo skull.
Yeah.
To access the memory disks.
Please make that
It's
happen.
like
That's
it's
so
like it
cool.
scans the factions and.
Well, they put it on a transfer sheet, and you have to like put it onto a piece of black paper.
Gotta work for it.
All the detachments, Trebon.
Great.
Fantastic.
More of it, please.
I'm very excited about them. But yes, now to the data slate. The Balance Dataslate. We have the MFM. We're not going to go through all the points line item by line item. We appreciate your time. You have eyeballs. You can read them for free.
There's nothing crazy,
It's not insane. No.
but we'd encourage you to read through it because everything's got a bit of a change.
Yeah, the most insane thing that happened was Emperor's Children. That was in a separate document, so that's fine.
Yeah.
I knew about that.
Yeah, there's the ups and downs across the board, but nothing crazy this time around. Balance Dataslate wise, we're going to cover 3 key areas which I think have seen the most change. There's tweaks to some stuff, but unlike the previous one where it was like, here's paragraphs and paragraphs of changes, they're just sort of tweaked a few things. The Adeptus Sororitas.
Be relieved, Sisters fans. We have our Miracle Dice back. We now get them each time an Adeptus Sororitas unit is destroyed, not at the end of the phase if a unit has been destroyed. So, good news, you can use the Grotmos detachment and it works.
Yay!
So, there you go.
Yeah, it's really nice. I think they needed that because it felt like a little bit like, you know, a double nerf. It's like, ow, like stop beating me up. Oh God, look.
Yeah.
There's a couple of changes, mainly to the bridgehead.
Having been on the receiving end of Bridgehead, I don't feel that bad about it.
It's a bit much. Was a bit much. It's now been changed to add 1 to the hit roll now for the Fire Zone Purge rather than the Wound roll, which I think is important because it also separates the Scions detachment from the Mechanized Assault detachment, which had the same rule effectively.
Yeah.
So for me, that is good because all of these attachments stink of flavour.
Right.
Putting it right up my nose, and it feels good. To me, a Scion should be a very accurate.
Yes.
But not like wounding monsters on.
They've still got las guns.
Yeah.
So hitting stuff.
Yes.
Of course they should be good at that. Wounding stuff more doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't make any sense. It was always
and
one of
also
those,
was unbalanced.
it's one of those weird things because they could just turn Space Marines into a fine mist. And
Which
it's
we
like,
don't want.
They're Scions. They're Scions. They're tough, but they're not a Space Marine.
That says more about Space Marines, but that's
That's
the
a
discussion.
separate story. Maybe another podcast. Firing Hot Stratagem's changed a little bit. It has gone up to 2 TP, and there's been some varying changes, but that's by the by. You can read that yourself. Combat Engineers have had their mortal wound output for their mind changed. But the biggest change, well, not the biggest change, it was an expected change, is Lord Solar can no longer command Titanic. So Bane Blades don't have orders again.
Yeah.
Which they had for a very brief moment. I think we all kind of were expecting that, Guard fans. I don't know why they hate Bane Blades so much, because it's not like they're that good.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, if we were in a world where everyone was taking 2 Baneblades, I was like, they're a scourge of the universe. I'd get it. Whereas currently, they're just sort of there for fun. They're more like terrain with guns attached.
I guess maybe it's bringing it in line with other factions that can't necessarily do things to Titanic. I don't know.
Which I understand, but then, like, it hits on 4s, man.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Battle cannon. Like, yeah, there's some scary guns, but come off it. Just make Baneblades fun. We then move on to Space Marines.
Oh.
Not quite as drastic as previous data slates, but they have cleared up Oath of Moment correctly. You still get Oath of Moment across the board for all Adeptus Astartes, regardless of your flavors. However, unless you are a Codex Space Marines detachment, which is the core ones from the Codex Space Marines book, you cannot benefit from the +1 to wound, regardless of your models. You can't do the thing where you're going to take Blood Angels with Desolator Marines and no Blood Angels units, thus getting the +2 strength and attack and the +1 to wound on all your stuff, just because you're Blue Space Marines in a red detachment. You do not have to use Gladius, Anvil, Stormlance. It makes complete sense.
Yes, I feel like that's how they always intended it to be.
Yeah.
And that is how it should have been being used.
Yes, exactly. It's one of those things, it makes a lot of sense. I think it's a great change. It always saddens me that they've probably spent time figuring that out rather than making cool, new, more detachments, because they have to undo what was clearly the intention. But it's by the by. It just clarifies that a lot, and also helps you guys out there, if you're at your local wargaming stores, when you're at tournaments, just being like, no, come on, you can't do that. So again, that's always nice to see them tighten that up. Beyond that, though, I think that's kind of all of the headlines, really.
Yeah. The only other thing that was different here is that in the points changes, it now shows you on the document what the points changes are.
Yes.
So it's like +10, -10.
Yeah.
You can actually see, rather than be like, what does it used to cost?
Yeah, they're red down, green up.
Yeah. Which is a nice,
Which is really
little,
nice, yeah.
nice little thing for the users.
There is one minor change, or I say minor change, an army rule change to Leagues of Votan. It's
hello.
worth mentioning. So they've just changed the wording a little bit, and I think this fixes an issue people had with the Grotmus detachment.
Oh, that's good.
So they've changed the wording, so instead of your Oathband detachment is just Ruthless Efficiency, and you get to pick a number of units to put Grudge tokens on. They've reduced that down, so Incursion 1, Strike Force 2, Onslaught 4.
Makes sense.
But instead your army rule gets an additional paragraph where at the start of the battle you select 2 units in your opponent's army and they start with 2 Judgment tokens. So all of those people that were concerned with the Grotmus detachment of you can't really use it because you don't get ways to get Grudge tokens, no, you can't.
You have
so
like a baseline Grudge in your army. That's a good change.
So,
I think what's most encouraging about all of this is the speed at which they're making these adjustments.
Yeah.
Like, we know it's a big ship and it takes a long time to turn, but they have brought us new stuff.
Yep.
And a new army.
Yep.
And the Balance Dataslate.
Yep.
And they've tweaked stuff to make it work with the stuff that was only really released back in December.
Yeah. 3 months. Yeah.
I really feel like there is a plan and they're coming up with really cool stuff. And these, I cannot get enough of these little bonus attachments.
They're putting things out that people want.
Yes.
They're not just putting it out for the sake of it. Like, we want this. This is good. This is a positive change.
It's really good, and I think it's what makes me smile. It makes me feel warm and fuzzy.
What makes you smile, Jack?
Is that, like you said, Katie, these are just attachments they've done for the fun of it.
Yeah.
I think they're happy to forego people just complaining that it's not the best attachment, because it doesn't need to be.
Yeah.
Like, it just is more choice. It's free. It's not like, oh, I've paid for a Codex and it's all a bit sad.
It's not a supplement either.
Exactly.
Which is what they were doing in 9th.
Precisely. And
just put it out.
This is so much better. Do you remember the days where it would be like the Warzone Sharaton? It'd be like, well, now you have to take your Codex and a big supplement book, and then if you haven't paid the money to buy that book and get your Special Sisters attachment, you aren't quite as good. This is all just cleaner, it's fairer, it's fun, which is excellent. It just begs the question of, do we need Codexes anymore?
But also, what do we think are going to be the next detachments they do?
That's a good question.
That's a very good question.
Thank you. I mean, it kind of feels like they've gone for ones that have had their codexes quite early already.
Yeah.
So maybe that's
I mean,
a hint.
Presumably this will be for stuff that already has
Codexes,
a
because all of
yes.
these do.
Yeah.
Maybe
I
Sisters?
tell you what would be really good, that, well, or would it? Agents of the Imperium.
Yeah, another attachment for them would be cool.
Something a bit, or some tweaks, because that's still a really weird army.
Ooh, Death Watch.
Oh.
If it's like demons and they're this new kind of
another way to use
special index army, maybe they'll get a different detachment, like a combat one.
Yeah.
Can I get Tiamat?
I mean, I do think Tyranids
would make sense.
Yeah.
Tyranids make sense because they've been out for a long time.
They've already got their Codex, they've been out for a little bit.
Yeah. Because they came out at similar time to Custodes, Gene Stealers.
You could then get Necrons.
Yeah, Necrons. Well, the thing is, the possibilities are kind of endless now, right? That's the
We do
really
whatever
cool
we
thing.
want.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's so
We
much
have the
choice
power.
now. Out of that, like I thought it was mad that you got a Guard one and you got a Eldar one so close to them being codexed.
Yeah.
So I think they seem to be happy to go with whatever. I like to hope they're not pressured on these, and that's why these are good.
Yeah.
Is that it's the rules team has probably written all the books anyway, and now they're like, cool, you've got more time to just be like, come up with.
What did you not have time to actually put in the Codex?
Yeah.
There you go. Have fun with it.
Do you have a cool idea? Yes, we're going to make it a detachment rather than you have to come up with one. Because I do think the fact everyone got them at Christmas meant that some of them were a bit subpar.
Yeah.
Because it was like, what do we do about knights? We give them Admech? Like that.
I think of like Eldar, who had so many detachments in the Codex. Like I know everyone was disappointed in the Grotmus detachment, but it made sense because the Codex there was so much in the Codex.
Yeah, and again, like I'm glad they've tweaked like Bridgehead because it was almost treading on the toes as on the book ones. Yeah. So I think this is all just super encouraging, and it's a very exciting time to get into Warhammer 40,000.
Bueno.
If you want to see Dakka in action, and you want to see Lions of the Emperor in action, and eventually experimental prototype cadre.
Maybe I'll take it.
Yeah, do it. Get into Tau. New year, new Tau. Sign up to On Demand. We've done two games already with these new detachments in, which have both been bangers.
It's out tomorrow if we didn't mention it already.
Yeah, the Custodes versus Demon one is very, very fun.
It's a banger.
Some legends were made.
Yeah.
Some stories will be told.
Some bellicles were bellicled.
Yeah, it was very, very exciting. Thank you very much for joining us on YouTube. Let us know what you think. What are your favourite of the new detachments? What kind of exciting lists are you planning on running? What detachments would you like to see next? And for everything Warhammer, keep it here at Tabletop Tactics. And we'll be doing all of this as soon as we can. Until next time, I've been James Jordan, aka The Bard. I've been joined by Katie Fode.
Bye!
Jinx. And Shadow Lord Beard. We've been Tabletop Tactics, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Bye-bye.